To this is Quarantiki from Lovecraft Cocktails. This is number 71. And we're going to explore a shaker and spoon box and see what a shaker and spoon box is all about. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and say happy birthday to H.P. Lovecraft because I somehow missed posting his birthday on the webpage. So, yeah, H.P. Lovecraft, born August 20th, long since dead. Not what you would call a sterling character of a man, but he gave us some truly tremendous writing and certainly has engendered many other authors to follow in the footsteps of cosmic horror. And you can hardly shake a stick these days without finding something with Cthulhu written on it. So, or at least if you live in my world. And as a consequence, we owe something to him, and he is part of the namesake of the Facebook page. So, here's to you, HPL. Happy birthday. I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. No, that's just water. I'm having a visceral reaction to drinking water, apparently. Yeah. So what are we going to do? Well, okay, here's the deal. We should do a toast to start with, but let me backtrack a little bit. So we have these wondrous friends that you've actually seen here, Huey and Kathy, that wanted to invite some of their friends on a cocktail journey with them. And so they signed up several friends for a cocktail service. So a monthly box shows up and gives you everything you need to make 3 custom cocktails. I think it's 4 drinks of each of the 3 custom cocktails. They give you all the ingredients aside from the alcohol because they can't ship the alcohol. That's up to you to purchase, and that allows you some freedom of expression as to what you want in your cocktail. And we get together and we do a little Zoom session and we talk about what we're drinking and how much we like it or dislike it or how we would improve it. And usually that's the way we spend a wondrous evening with some friends. But we've never done a shaker and spoon box here, so we thought we would open one of the shaker and spoon boxes and go through it and see what that experience is like. Now, all of the shaker and spoon boxes each month are, well, each month the shaker and spoon box, there's the correct saying of that, centers around a particular type of alcohol. So it might be rum, or it might be Tennessee whiskey, or single malt scotch, or in this case, Cachaca. And so we're going to take a look at what the Cachaca box looks like. Now, if you ever get your shaker and spoon box, here's a couple of hints. Open your box ahead of time and read the instructions, because sometimes there are things that need to be done a day or two in advance of actually making the cocktail. And we'll talk about that when we get there. But since this box is devoted to Cachaca, what I thought I would do is start our little tour here with a toast done using a typical Brazilian cocktail, which is a caipirinha.
Yay!
So we love caipirinhas. Caipirinhas are just wonderfully gorgeous, light, refreshing, and we have really good memories associated with drinking caipirinhas. So
Meat faucet.
Meat faucets, yeah. So we do like the Brazilian, Argentine steakhouses, and a number of them feature caipirinhas or caipirinhas on a cart, and that's always a good thing. So how do you do a caipirinha? Caipirinhas can be built in a glass, or in this case, we're going to go ahead and do it in a shaker. It starts with one lime, right? Okay, that's not going to work. So one lime quartered or cut into smaller sections, and that is all just dropped into your shaker. So we're going to do that. Here is my movie magic, right? So da-da-da. And presto changeo, that lime is now a bunch of little lime pieces, right? So there you go. There's a full lime.
We have a David and a Colleen.
Hello, David. Hello, Colleen. So the second ingredient for the caipirinha is sugar. And not just any sugar, white sugar, but super fine sugar, really fine sugar. And how do we get really fine sugar? Please don't go powdered sugar. Bad idea. Powdered sugar will clump and be gross because it's got cornstarch in it. So this is just regular old normal household sugar, but I've run it through a blender for a couple of minutes. And this is to taste. Now, honey has a bit of a sweet tooth, so you can go as light as a teaspoon or as heavy as sort of 2 teaspoons of sugar for this. So we're going to split the difference here, and I'm going to go about 1.5 teaspoons. Real super fine. And then we're going to muddle this. So here you do want to extract from the oil, so you're going to want to bear down a little bit on this. We're going to take a muddler, and we're just going to reach in here, and we're going to do this. Oh, we do have a new feature this evening. So while I'm doing this, we can reach over here, and we'll do kabing, right? So there's a new feature. There's some weird underlighting. It's not the most attractive look for me, so I think we're going to have to move this light strip somewhere else. Maybe move it in front of me so it's facing, I don't know. But I'm thinking, I'd like to get your opinions, but I'm thinking for tonight we're gonna not do that. Now I have freedom of control on this. You know, I can make this light, you know, oh, you know, that would be awful. I can change it to be this kind of a bluish color, all that sort of thing. We're not going to go there. We're going to go here and just turn that off. I think that works, right? That works. This is sort of what you're used to seeing from me, which maybe that doesn't work for you, but hey, you keep coming back, so what can I say? All right, we have muddled that. The lime is pretty well crushed and mutilated in there, which is what we want.
Greetings from Soggy Poughkeepsie.
Soggy Poughkeepsie, yes, you have a hurricane inbound or hitting you now or something. So she was very worried last week about our little jellyfish friends here. And as you can see, they are having a wonderful time going up and down and up and down and up and down. Third ingredient, Caipirinha, 2 ounces Cachaca. Okay, well, what is Cachaca? Cachaca is a... Okay, you have to catch yourself because the instinct here is to go, oh, it's rum from Brazil. Not quite. So it is made from sugarcane, and therefore in the United States, since there's no other additives or anything else to it, it is technically legally classified as rum. Don't let a Brazilian catch you saying that, though. They do, in fact, process this. They ferment from the sugarcane juices themselves, so it's kind of like a rum agricole in that sense. And then they age it, and all sorts of good things occur to it. But it is probably most closely related to rum agricole, and in fact, it's, you know, most people are a little hard-pressed to go exactly what the difference is, aside from the fact that Cachaca is made in Brazil. Defining feature has to be made in Brazil. Okay, so we're going to go 2 ounces. And oh, by the way, this is a bottle of Cachaca that was brought back by our dear friend Gwen from one of her trips down to South America. So this is yummy Cachaca. Not that there isn't yummy Cachaca in the U.S., because there's not. So I was about to shake this, but what we're missing here is clearly some ice. So let's go ahead and do that. Throw a little bit of ice in here. And then we are going to pour this in 2 glasses. And normally, this would be about the size for a single rock, or a single Caipirinha, but my rocks glasses are particularly small. And so we're going to get 2 out of this. And that'll be fine, because that's what we're going to use to toast. So I think that'll be just fine. Be okay. Wow. Look at that. And we're just going to shake. Nice long shake. You want this really, really cold. You want the glasses slightly chilled, so I should have started mixing while I was doing this. Ideally, like I mentioned, you could also do this in the glass, build it in the glass. And that would be perfectly fine. In fact, usually you see it built in the glass because you want to get the lime chunks in the glass as well, which it's hard to do if you're going to strain it Some recipes say strain it, but then you lose that lovely green bits of lime. So now that we have slightly chilled glasses, I'm just going to go that and that. There we go. Yep, right there. Looks about right. And there's a Caipirinha for you. There's a Caipirinha for me. National drink of Brazil has, as far as I know, absolutely no connection to H.P. Lovecraft. But we're going to drink H.P. Lovecraft's birthday. Here's H.P. Lovecraft.
Happy birthday, H.P. Lovecraft.
More importantly, happy birthday to the man whose influence has stamped its mark on modern horror of all sorts. So there we go. How'd we do? All right?
Yum.
Yum? Okay.
Yum.
Yep, I could drink those.
So I learned about Cachaca the first time we went to a meat faucet, which is what we call the Brazilian grill, because you turn the card and they bring meat around and then you turn it off.
Or you have a coin,
You have
or
a
a card
coin
or something.
whatever, and they stop
As
for
long
a
as
bit.
it's green, meat keeps coming
Yeah,
towards you,
so
right?
We
Yep.
call it the meat faucet,
Right.
and
Or
they're
the
very
vegan
yummy.
nightmare, or something
Yeah,
along those
yeah,
lines.
yeah. And often Brazilian grills will serve caipirinhas.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I actually had my first Caipirinha with Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Katie served me one. She used Haitian rum instead of using a Cachaca. So I cut my teeth on using rum for these. But
You can see a little bit of our blowfish.
you can.
I forgot what our blowfish's name was.
I don't know.
He had
It's
a
not
name.
Tits McGee.
He had one, but we forgot it. Maybe I'll go back and find that episode.
Or maybe he's, the pufferfish of the indeterminate name.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he's a spy. He's got a different name each week, something like that. Ooh.
International freak.
I don't know how international it is. Well, there's a lot of different rums from different countries, so maybe it is international.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the drink that we're going to start with for. So this is a shaker and spoon box. So it comes. It looks like this. It says shaker and spoon on it. It says cocktails you never knew you could make. Shakerandspoon.com. It's a monthly deal. You can get them in, I think, 3-month groupings or 6-month groupings.
I think you can get single ones.
You might even be able to get single boxes. So if you open up your box, dun dun dun, it will be filled with little crinkles that look kind of like this. I don't know if you can see that, but the box will be overflowing with those. You want to paw through those pretty carefully because oftentimes there are small things in the box. The key ingredient here in your box, however, is going to be this package of cards. The package of cards will list the total box contents, and you will want to go through that in some detail to make sure that you got all of your pieces. Often there are little packages of things, little plastic packages, and you may have seen these little squirter bottles or little dasher bottles that I have way too many of, these little guys, right? Well, this is where they come from. So you'll get like a little package of them, and they hold just enough bitters or whatever for that particular box. So in this case, there's a spritzer of lemon oil. So this looks like a spritzer to me, and what do you know? It says lemon oil on it. So there's a spritzer of lemon oil. There's a bag of celery seed salt. So there's the celery seed salt. 1 can of pineapple juice, hot from concentrate. 1 can Blue Monkey watermelon juice. Blue Monkey watermelon juice. Does it say Blue Monkey on it?
It does.
It says Blue Monkey on it. All right.
100% watermelon juice.
And let's see, what else we got in here? It says 1 bottle, 821 bitters, Earl Grey bitters. And that's 1821, 18.21 Earl Grey bitters. Yep.
You also learn about different new brands and.
Yep. The Bitter Housewives Orange Bitters. So this is different. So I have a number of these small bottles of orange bitters from them. And there we go. There's a different brand of orange bitter. Dash Fire Chai Walla Chai Bitters, which you're going to...
Chai Walla Chai?
Yeah, Chai Walla Chai Bitters. I don't know. Yeah, that's what it says. All right, what else do we have in this box? 1 bottle of Darjeeling syrup. So Darjeeling being a tea, so this would be a tea made from Darjeeling syrup, Darjeeling tea. Be a syrup made from Darjeeling tea. Wow, cannot speak today. There will be a bottle of something that Star will not be having any of, which is the jalapeno mint lime cordial. There you go, right? Might use a little of that, but not nearly as much as that would call for normally. There's some beer vinegar. Okay, not sure how I'm going to feel about that. There is some spiced citrus cordial. Dun dun dun. And then there is 1 bottle of unrefined coconut oil. Uh-oh. My bottle of coconut oil it's empty. Oh no. This is one of those cases where you were supposed to do something with this bottle ahead of time, with the contents of that bottle ahead of time, and we have done that. One of the cocktails this evening calls for a coconut oil fat-washed Cachaca. And so we managed to do that, and I'll talk about that when we get to that particular cocktail. So we've gone down the list, tells you everything that you need to have. It has videos, so you can watch somebody else make the cocktail if, for whatever reason, the card is too hard to follow. I've never had that happen before. It starts with a description of the liquor that you're going to be using this evening. On their webpage, it will give you a list of potential brands to try with this. This is Catching Up with Cachaca. You can call it Heart Opener, Tiger Breath, White Maria, or any of the other cheeky nicknames bestowed by the people of Brazil. Just don't call it Brazilian rum. I told you. If you squint, you can see the similarities between the two. They tend to share shelf space, suit the summer like a Speedo on a sun-kissed buttock, and both begin with sugarcane. Yeah, I didn't need that visual, thank you. But while rum relies on derivatives of the crop, not all of them, in Brazil they use the juice, which is fermented, distilled in copper stills, and aged in barrels often made of indigenous woods. The end result is a bit funky with grassy, dried fruit notes, a lively, verdant flavor sensation that adds an irresistible lift to cocktails, like this tantalizing trio straight out of Rio and the surrounding countryside. And then each one of the cocktails will have its own card, which I can reach up. Its own card, yes, dun dun dun. And on the back of that card will be just a line drawing of what that should look like. So this is obviously a drink that needs to go into a coupe, right? I'm going to double check here and see double strain the shaker's contents into a chilled coupe. So the webpage will tell you what you need to have on hand in order to make the drink. So if it requires crushed ice, it'll have that as well. It'll tell you what kind of glassware you need. And of course it has the how to make videos on it. So this is the Ipanyma Daydream. With seemingly impossible levels of grace, the subject of the song, the girl from Ipanyma, sashays through the streets of Rio, garnering many a gaze. But has Christopher Longoria conjured up a tasteful cocktail to match? His fun and elegant vision brims with perfectly engineered flavor companions to those that Cachaca itself contributes. Herbal brightness from mint and lime, a summery splash of watermelon, and the slight heat and vegetal hint from chilies and celery seed kick back with this complex wonder for the summer day of your dreams. The ingredients are Cachaca, watermelon juice. We have watermelon juice right here. Jalapeno mint lime cordial right here. Dashes, not drops, of the orange bitters. That's the Walla bitters. That's the orange bitters. And a pinch of celery seed salt. Now they say you can garnish this by taking your coupe and rolling it in the celery seed, or you can just do a little pinch of the celery seeds on top. And in fact, we are going to do the latter. So how do we do this? This is a shaken cocktail. It says so right here, method, shaken. So we're going to take one of these. And then we're going to add all of our liquid ingredients. It says add all liquid ingredients to shaker, fill shaker with ice. Okay, we can do this. So we need, how to do this? We'll do this backwards. 2 dashes of orange bitters. Sure. Shaky, shaky. I am going to do 2 of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, yeah, no, I'll go ahead and do 2, but I'm going to cut back on the jalapeno cordial because, well, it's my wife, and yeah, not so happy on the jalapenos for the wife. I will go ahead and shake this. None of these syrups require, or none of the stuff they send you requires refrigeration until it's opened, and then most of them do, and they will say on them whether or not they require refrigeration. So 3/4 of an ounce per cocktail. And since it's just us chickens here, I'm going to stick a finger in here. I'm thinking that I'm going to do like just under a 1/2 ounce for the second one. Just because there is a little bite of the jalapeno there.
Okay.
But it does really have some nice jalapeno and citrus flavor to it. And so we want that in the cocktail. So.
I remembered what the new thing is.
What new thing? We have a new thing?
Yeah, you're wearing it.
Oh, I am wearing it. Oh, that's right. Yes. Oh, right. It is the whole point. I've had this for the better part of a week and have been itching to wear it and said, no, I'm going to hold off and I will mention it on our cocktail show. And so this is the, from the, it's not the Board of Trade, the Board of Tourism on Guam. You can get from them these cool shirts, which have, there's the Guam logo on here somewhere. I can't find it. But these are the shirts or replicas of the shirts that the Guam Olympic team wore. And when the Guam Olympic team came wandering through on the opening ceremonies, I went, I want that shirt. That's cool. And so now I have that shirt because my wife is awesome. 1 ounce of watermelon juice per cocktail. So we're going to go with 2 ounces here. So there's the first one, and then there's the second one. And then 2 ounces of Cachaca per cocktail. So we are going to go with, so I'm actually running slightly low on Cachaca, so I may end up doing weird things like combining Cachacas. We'll see how that goes. Here is a Brazilian denomination of origin, Cachaca Pitu, 40%. I think this is actually one of the very first Cachacas we ever bought. So there's 2, and then the second. And there's 4 ounces. All right, we're going to shake this up with some ice, and then we are going to put that into our wonderful little coops. After we strain it, of course. Ice. More ice. And then shaky, shaky. Shaky, shaky. Here we go. 15 to 30 seconds. Told you that on the card. Call that good. That's somewhere between 15 and 30. You don't really want to see me just standing here shaking all night. Set that over here. We're going to strain that into the coops. 1 chilled coop. 2 chilled coop. Oh, that has ice in it. There we go. All right. Because sometimes my ice maker spits ice all over the place. Right, coop. Coop. There we go. 2 coops. We now need the celery salt. Celery salt. Sprinkle the celery salt on top of the drink. Okay, I can do that. There's some celery salt. There's some celery salt. Makes for a very pretty looking cocktail. And I will now endeavor to take a taste of this cocktail and see whether or not my lovely wife is actually capable of drinking it. I find that quite lovely. There is a little tinge at the back of the throat, but I'm not sure that that's going to bother her. There is some lovely complexity going on in this. I'm quite surprised. Hun, you want to try this?
Yeah.
There's a little more left in the container here, so I'm going to do that. Hope you don't mind. We're going sort of off book and not doing tiki drinks this evening, but we're using...
But we've also mentioned shaker and spoon a few times, and we thought...
And it's a rum-adjacent spirit, so why not?
So we thought
Yep.
we'd show you what it is.
So cheers, Cachaca
Cheers.
cocktails from Shaker and Spoon.
Now, who's the bartender on this one?
Christopher Longoria. And I do not know where Christopher is from, and sometimes it says on the information cards, but I'm sure it says on the website where Christopher is from. And
Okay, there is a little jalapeno, but
it's
so
mostly the
far it's the
flavor of the
flavor
jalapeno.
of it, not
Mhm.
the capsaicin.
Not the Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like a little more sugar in that? To help counteract
Yeah,
that
I
little
think
bit
I
of
would
heat?
like just a touch more.
Well, we happen to have like this super fine sugar sitting right here.
Shock!
Shockies.
If only you had a bar spoon or such.
Or
Yeah.
I'm not going to add a full teaspoon of sugar to this. It's just a little coop.
There we go.
If only I had a bar spoon. Right? Well, here, this is a straw spoon, but it'll do. One of the nice things about the superfine sugar is that it really dissolves much better than your typical granulated sugar. It's much easier. Although I kind of like, I've had caipirinhas with regular table sugar, and I quite like them. I like that little bit of, I don't know, there's a little bit of crunch. There's, the cocktail differs on its way down because of the different levels of dissolution of the sugar. So we'll see whether or not that's better or whether or not it got too sweet for her.
No, it's a little better.
Should I try it or am I going to hate it?
Yeah, you can try it. So it's
Yeah, go ahead. Yep, it is the Ipanyma Daydream by Christopher Longoria.
I do not have any taste of the celery seed salt that I'm aware of.
No? I do. Definitely on the
but
back end.
there's a bit, I can taste a bit of the watermelon.
Yeah. There's definitely a citrus flavor to it. I may end up finishing that for you, though, because I think there's a build
Is there?
on this. So that might be problematic for you.
So I may have one more.
Well, it depends. I mean, you can sip and then taste like, oh no, that's beginning to build, and when you decide that that's done for you.
So I'm going to simulate the celery salt on the rim by having a little of the salt.
On your finger? On the finger? Let's do that, yep.
Oh, interesting. The jalapeno comes through more with the salt.
Because it accentuates the vegetal characteristics,
Yes.
right? And it's the flavor of the jalapeno, not the heat, that comes through more.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird because I'm used to that taste makes me panic.
Right. Do you still have some of your... No, you have none of your caipirinha left.
But I think I will let you finish it.
Okay.
Just because I don't think there's heat,
We'll just dump
but
it.
I train myself to, if there's that taste, to
Avoid.
and so it hits that trigger.
So I'm going to have you wash out some glassware for
okay.
me as long as we're here. So this is also, for those of you that have wives that steal your cocktails, here's a brilliant way of getting around that. If your wife happens to have a flavor profile she doesn't like, or happens to be allergic to, like capsaicin in this case, this allows me to actually have a full cocktail, whereas, usually I don't. Well, that is quite lovely. I quite like that. And with Shaker and Spoon, I have to admit, Shaker and Spoon, their cocktails vary all over the place. And I think that's for good reason, because different people have different tastes. And we've found, even with the small group of us doing the Shaker and Spoon Zooms, that there will be cocktails that oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this. And somebody will be like, no, I think this is really good. There have been a few. There have been a few that we've gone,
Why?
What?
Why
Nope.
did we infuse that with nori?
Yeah, so nori infused rum. The avocado powder in the cocktail was not a good thing. I don't even remember what that. I don't think that was the rum box. Beet tincture
yes,
that got
it was a
used.
beet
That was
tincture.
but I personally hate beets, so I wasn't gonna like that cocktail anyway.
Other people who don't mind beets didn't like it either.
True.
Because we tried to give it to Amanda.
Oh, that's true. Amanda likes beets, and she couldn't stand the beet tincture. So yeah, I don't know. There's just something wrong with the beet and vinegar flavor profile of that. The shrub, the beet shrub. That's what it was.
Shrub.
Okay, so what are we going to do for a second cocktail? Second cocktail. So first of all, I should mention that the shaker and spoon box does not specify a particular order for the cocktails. So you use your own best judgment on looking at the cocktails and deciding what order you want them in. Most of them tend to be about the same alcoholic strength, so it's not like, oh, you better start with this one, because by the time you get to the third, you'll never be tasting any of the flavors. There's no real guidance there, but usually they don't waver too much. So this next drink is the exact reason why this bottle is in fact empty. Because what this says is it calls for 2 ounces of coconut fat washed cachaca. And then it provides you with this note: to fat wash your cachaca, combine 2 ounces of unrefined coconut oil, dun dun dun, with 8.5 ounces of cachaca. Okay. Allow the combination to rest at room temperature for a minimum of 4 hours. We let it sit overnight. Then transfer to the freezer for a minimum of 8 hours. We did the minimum, 8 hours. And then once the oil is separated, it'll rise to the top and freeze. Skim off the solids, strain any of the remaining solids out using cheesecloth or a fine strainer. Store in an airtight container in the fridge for up to 6 months. Wow. Okay, so what we ended up with is this. So I used the P2 cachaca, which is crystal clear, mixed it with this white liquid that was in this jar, and set it on the counter for overnight. And then we stuck it in the freezer this morning, and then 8 hours later, we pulled it out of the freezer. And lo and behold, sitting on top of it was this, which I gotta tell you, my first thought was, wow, I produced a urinal cake. This is coconut oil, and what happens is, because of the different freezing temperatures and densities, the oil all separates out and comes to the top of the jar that you're storing it in, and just collects here. And so then you can punch a hole in one side, punch a hole in the other side, pour it through to parchment paper and or a strainer, and you get this liquid. Now, there's obviously some protein still in here because that's what the foam is. If you shake it up, you'll see the foam appear, and that's the proteins coming from that. But to the best of my knowledge, I don't know that there's anything I can do with this, although I might try cooking with it because it's coconut oil. I don't know why that wouldn't work. Drink is called the Wavy Colada. 2 ounces of the fat-washed cachaca, 1 ounce of pineapple juice, 1 ounce of spiced citrus cordial, that's this stuff here, and half an ounce of beer vinegar. Ingredients: water, flaked oats, barley, malt, and yeast. Alright, I'll give it a try. I'm not a big beer fan, so we'll see how this works for me. Don't know, but I'm willing to give it a try, because it's shaker and spoon. Just try it,
Ah,
Can't hurt you, right?
Chris is drinking Cory Bucket.
Oh, shucks. So often we will ask Chris and David what they are drinking this evening while they are watching Quarantiki, and it turns out that Chris is drinking a single malt scotch that I believe they picked up while they were visiting us. It's at Ace Beverage, because Ace is awesome. Shall I do the same thing, hun? Just mix 2 of these?
Yep.
All right. So let's do that. This is shaken, says so right here. So we're going to start with the half ounce of beer vinegar. I don't know, beer vinegar. So I'm just going to put a little of this on my tongue and see how I get mostly vinegar from that, which is okay with me. I'd rather be having that than the beer. So I think this is going to be fine for me. So we're going to go a full ounce of that, because half ounce per cocktail, right? Doubled 1 ounce. Glug, 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 glug. There we go. And you'll note 1 ounce is just about half the bottle, so yep, that works. Let's not knock that over. Physical dexterity, not good. Okay, there. What's next? The 1 ounce of spiced citrus cordial. That would be here. What is in this? Lime juice, organic honey, grapefruit juice, lemon zest, cinnamon sticks, allspice berries, citric acid, and cloves. Ooh, this sounds yummy. That sounds quite yummy, in fact. I'm going to like this one, I'm sure. Violate the usual open every bottle before you start the show, Pooch. This is 1 ounce, so we're going to go with 2 ounces of this. One ounce. They're usually pretty good about letting you know how long these will keep as well. So, I mean, that's always nice, so that you don't end up with a refrigerator that looks like mine, which just has tons of these little bottles lying around in it. I don't know, there's a lot of these where, quite frankly, we make them the night that we are doing the Zoom box, and then we don't have to return to them. But I think that's just a fluke of ours. I don't know if there's any problem. I don't think other couples have that problem. I think they just run through the drinks. And it is always fun to go pawing through some of these syrups and cordials and the like, and go, hey, what can I make with those that isn't from one of these recipe cards? Next up, 1 ounce of pineapple. So that's 2 ounces of this stuff. Remember, this is based on a pina colada. Hey, let's not break a nail.
And this one's by who?
We'd be remiss to cruise anywhere near the Caribbean without a cocktail from Shannon Mustafar. Woohoo! We love Shannon. She's awesome. Rum expert and author of Tiki Modern Tropical Cocktails. There are many ways to toy around with the deliciously quenching colada, but with a fat-washed cachaca base, it's never been done quite like this. So there is 2 ounces. Which is exactly what we need, right? Double checking. Oh, I almost doubled the pineapple juice. That would have been bad. And now we need 4 ounces of this fat-washed cachaca. And I tried this earlier today, and I have to say that it changes. So this is what I should do. I should actually do a taste test here, because I know what cachaca I used. So we're going to do a little bit of this. It changes. The first thing you notice right up front is it changes the mouthfeel of the cachaca considerably. It lends a thickness and a weight to the mouthfeel that is just very distinct. You can do fat washing with almost any kind of fat. Bacon fat is quite common. Butter is another common one. Olive oil is another common one. So here we go. So this is the straight up P2 cachaca. Very, very grassy notes, very much like a rum agricole on the nose. By contrast, once you add the coconut fat wash, you get those same notes, but they're toned down a little bit, and then there's this hint, this nice little hint of coconut through it. So that they're akin to one another, certainly, but this is almost more volatile. It's easier to pick out those grassy notes. Once you know that they're there, you can find them here, but definitely they are intermingled with the coconut. So on the taste, and the production methods are so similar to rum agricoles, and yet the flavor profile is just, it's not even subtly different. It's distinctly different. I would have expected this to be much more like an agricole blanc, and a lot more just grassy, vegetal up front. And it really isn't. This is very smooth, very tasty. If I try this, Again, the mouthfeel is different. It almost feels like there's a little more heat to this, which I don't understand at all. I don't know why my mouth is reacting that way. There shouldn't be any more heat to this, but it's definitely, your mouth is just kind of coated with this coconut flavor. It's not overpowering though. It's just like, there's going to be a subtle hint of coconut to whatever you taste from this point on. So I'm going to suggest that my wife come up here and do the exact same thing while I make the rest of this drink, which is calling for 4 ounces of this. 2 ounces per cocktail, obviously.
You can definitely tell which is which just by looking at it.
Well, yeah. And I would expect that between the little bit of foamy action we get here from the proteins from the coconut and the pineapple juice, that we're going to get a lot of foam on this one. What do you think? Nifty, huh?
Yeah.
And definitely the mouthfeel, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, wait, that's not the same liquid that I am putting into my mouth.
Right.
It is definitely thicker. All right, we need ice in this. Yes, ice. Ice! There must be ice! This goes in there. Nice ice. We usually do a shaker and spoon box over 2 to 3 hours. So this is kind of an abbreviated version of the shaker and spoon. But we also are usually chatting and gabbing about, what's happening in our lives and who's being a jerk to whom and that sort of thing. And we're not really doing that tonight so much. Double checking. Shake vigorously until ice cold and shows frost on the outside, 15 to 30 seconds. Pour into Collins glass over fresh cubed ice. So we have 2 Collins glasses. I'm going to fill those with fresh cubed ice, and then I'm going to go ahead and shake. Not sure that's snow, but we're going to call it good anyway. Mostly because that was getting to my ear. It was like, I can't, it's very loud, I can't hear anything. Oh yeah, there's a bit of foam there. We're going to strain this. I'm going to use my good barfly strainer here. Really, really tight coil. I really like this. Alright, so we're going to go, whoop. Oh, this is so frothy and good. Oh, Shannon, you probably hit this out of the park again. Here we go. It has no instructions for garnishing, so I'm not actually going to garnish this with anything other than I'm going to stick a couple of straws in here. So let's see. We've got. Sure, why not? These are plain old ordinary straws from Surfside Zips. Comes in a green tint. This is a slight pink. It's kind of hard to tell in this light. It's not. Definitely comes through. There's the pink tint to that. Stick that in here. So not all of the Surfside Sip straws are bizarro things like bamboo and like have animals and tentacles on them. But and you'll note there is definitely a foamy head on this, right? That is both from the pineapple and from the cachaca that has been fat washed. So we're going to take a drink of the Wavy Colada from Ms. Shannon Mustafar. That, oh, there's an initial bite of something that I'm like, what is that? I'm not sure I'm entirely a fan of that. Oh, right. I'm guessing that's the beer vinegar. And then everything settles down and is like remarkably cool and awesome from that point on. So if you don't mind beer, I think you'll be completely happy with this. If you mind beer, and you mind vinegar, this may be less to your liking, but I got to tell you, I don't like beer at all, and I'm still quite happy with this cocktail. Star, you should come up here and have some of this and see if you agree with my sentiments. But I think Shannon's done it again. I might sprinkle a little cinnamon and nutmeg on top of mine, because I think that would be good.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, see, she likes it.
Huh?
What is this? What is happening here? What is that? What is what? Oh, it's just a little bit of foam that's caught on one of the ice cubes.
On the
it's
ice
like,
cubes.
why is there this white bit here? I don't know. And then I'm like,
It's a nice straw you have there.
why, yes, it's from Surfside Sips. Where is your straw from?
Surfside Sips.
Where can I get straws like these?
I will post a link. And
Is
you
there-
can get 20% off if you use the code Lovecraft.
You're going to take 20% off if I use the code Lovecraft?
Yes.
20% off the price, or
The
just you?
price.
Oh, you're just okay. All right, yeah, because that would okay. I think that's less than 20%, but it's still like below the line of the camera, so we're all good here. Still keeping it vaguely PG. Yeah, good thing the camera is facing this direction. Alrighty, that's 2 drinks from Shaker and Spoon. Both of those have been quality drinks. And both of those, there are some times where I think, would that drink be better if it was made with some other spirit? Both of these, I think, benefit from the Cachaca being used here. I think the Cachaca works really well. If you can't find Cachaca, I would go with a rum agricole and see how that worked for you. Definitely go with an unaged rum agricole. I think that would be interesting, and in fact, I might go through this entire lineup and use an unaged rum agricole and just see how different the flavor profiles are. Because I'm a rum nerd and I have the rum agricole, and why not? Why not? Well, reads like this: the give and go. If there's one sport they love in Brazil, it's drinking cachaça. No, wait, we meant soccer, or football in Portuguese. Of course. Well, let's just combine the two. Adam Way, in a special collaboration with the Cachaca-connected soccer goalie Stefan Frey, offers up this old fashioned that calls on prized first flush Darjeeling tea to provide floral, stone fruit notes that linger in lockstep with the earthy side of the spirit. In India, there are 4 major flushes when tea is harvested, and many hold the opinion that the first, in spring after a long winter dormancy, provides peak freshness and flavor. After an amazing assist from a team of tea bitters, stir, sip, and goal! Actually, it's not quite that long. It is many O's, but it's not quite that long. It doesn't go onto the back side of the card. So, and this is actually going to be a stirred cocktail.
He is in Seattle.
And this will be served in your rocks glasses. And we happen to have a rocks glass from Archipelago. And I'm going to use as my second rocks glass the Mai Tai Till I Die double rocks glass. Both of these require, or this drink requires a single large rock in those glasses. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now.
So Adam Way is from Seattle at a bar called Bistro.
I've heard of Bistro. Adam Way, the bartender here, is from Bistro in Seattle. If you weren't catching the sounds coming from my dear wife halfway across the room, which this little lavalier mic should not be picking up, but apparently it does because it's a really much better mic than we thought it would be. Okay, so I have not a mojito, I have a Caipirinha that I'm almost done with. I have the girl from Ipanyma cocktail. What is that? The Ipanyma Daydream cocktail. If you wanted to, I think if the heat gets to you, I would switch over and maybe do a couple of dashes of maybe some celery bitters and just use lime juice. And I think you would be okay with this cocktail. It doesn't need the heat. Although, you know, if you don't mind the heat, I think this is quite fine as it is. Down, ye old hatch. Oh, and then I gotta say, I think this is the right order because that little bit of heat, and then you reach for your wavy colada. Oh yeah, and all of a sudden the heat is gone. Not The Heat Is On, which is a song from an Eddie Murphy comedy from the 80s, right? The Heat Is On? Is that right? That seems right to me, but I've been known to be wrong on occasion. So what does this calls? 2 ounces of Cachaca. Well, pretty sure there's not 2 ounces of this Cachaca left. So we will probably have to dig into the bottom dregs of the Aqua Luca Cachaca. And then at some point we're going to have to go on a shopping trip and pick up some more Cachaca. So we're going to try that. 1/4 ounce of Darjeeling syrup, 4 dashes of Earl Grey bitters, 2 dashes of chai bitters, and a spritz. A spritz, you like that? Spritz of lemon oil. And the spritz of lemon oil is spritzed over the top of the cocktail, so it goes over the top of the rocks glasses. The other thing you can do...
This is Amanda's favorite from the box.
Oh, Amanda, that's right. I forgot. Amanda's actually gone through this box. So comments you're getting from Amanda are, oh, I liked this about this drink and that sort of thing because she's made these before.
She's sensing a trend and foresees many custom tea-based syrups in her future.
She's pointing out that she quite likes cocktails where one of the components is either tea or a tea-based syrup. Now, the nice thing, so as long as you have tea around, obviously you can use tea as a base for the weak component of your cocktail. The nice thing about doing a tea syrup, however, is if you're doing 2 to 1 or better, that sucker is shelf stable. And as a consequence, you can keep that for, well, okay, it's not entirely shelf stable, but it is, well, you stick it in the fridge well nigh forever. So that tea will last you and last you and last you and make all sorts of wonderful cocktails. I think I've mentioned on numerous occasions before that my typical tiki punch uses as its base a tea for the weak ingredient, and I quite like the components that teas bring to this. The other aspect of that is if you're not interested in the tea flavor per se, but you want a fruit flavor or an herbal flavor or a floral flavor, there are a lot of tisanes around here. So a tisane is essentially, it's done the same way a tea is done, except it doesn't have actual tea in it, right? So you could do like a hibiscus tea or hibiscus tisane and get that flavor of the tea, get the flavor of the floral component in there and make a syrup with that, and it'd be fantastic and wonderful. I do the same sort of thing by making a hibiscus syrup, where I may just make a simple syrup and I throw hibiscus flowers in it and I let it sit overnight, and it's this gorgeous, gorgeous red color and very, very tart, and it's a singular component in my homemade grenadine. I do that with some pomegranate and various other things, and it comes out really, really nicely. But all of this is getting us nowhere near making this last drink, so I might as well pause anyway and have another sip of this. The Wavy Colada. Shannon Mustafar. Shannon, we love you.
Yum!
Okay, what are we going to do here? We are going to do, I'm not going to start with the dashes, so we're going to go 1/4 ounce of the Darjeeling syrup. That's this little guy right here, right? Yep, Darjeeling syrup. Quarter ounce. In this case, that's going to be a 1/2 ounce because we're going to double this up. Nice and thick. All right, so that goes in there. Right now, because it's Darjeeling syrup. That's pretty good. I've got to say, for my money though, that's pretty close to a simple syrup. I'm not getting a whole lot of the Darjeeling flavors from this. 4 ounces of Cachaca, right? Because we're doing a double, so I need 2 ounces and then another 2 ounces. I don't know. I'm not sure how similar or different these Cachacas are from one another. All I know is that I do not have enough of this Cachaca to finish this cocktail. So we're just going to have to mix Cachacas. That's all there is to it. I know, Cardinal Sin. How about if we do this? Let's find out how different these Cachaças are. Because I have another tasting glass. Started and finished the Cachaça that was there, so we can do a quick tasting. Agua Luca. Agua Luca, imported exotic Brazilian Cachaça. Also 40%. I don't know what actually makes this exotic Cachaça, other than, hey, we'd like to sell some Cachaça. So we're going to put the word exotic on the bottle. Which, as you may have guessed, the word exotic has no legal definition in American law, near as I can tell, particularly with regard to spirits. It might have in some other area. Clearly, I'm not a lawyer. Oh my gosh. Wow, my Cachaça levels are low. So there's 2 ounces. Oops. I don't have enough to finish this cocktail using those 2 bottles of Cachaça.
Oh my
which
gosh.
is fortunate that I have more Cachaça here. Gwen, we're going to use up most of your bottle of Cachaça that you gave us as well. Might as well do, let's see how much we got here. Yep, okay, so there's the second. So there's 4 ounces there. Might as well, why not? It's a tasting night. We're going to do a tasting flight of Cachaças here. And yeah, I'm going to need more Cachaça in the near future.
Amanda has a lot of shaker and spoon mats too.
Okay, so it's bing, bing, bing. That's the P2, the Agua Luca, and then the Cachaça Brasilia, right? Okay. What else goes in here? 4 dashes of Earl Grey bitters. Now, this is weird to me. So why are you adding Earl Grey bitters to a Darjeeling syrup? I would have thought that you would make the Darjeeling syrup, you know, enough Darjeeling elements in it, or you would just go with an Earl Grey tea, one or the other. So this seems a little weird to me, but okay, whatever. This says 4 dashes, so we need to go 8. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just going to dab a little on the finger. Okay, they did not give us enough of this. I'm sorry, shaker and spoon, but I mean, this is probably enough to do another cocktail. But this bottle should be at least this size and maybe bigger. You know, I'd be okay with it being this size. This is really tasty. I'd freaking drink this out of a shot glass. That's so yummy. The bergamot really comes through on that. It's got that faint bittery that you would expect from a bitters. Yeah, that's really yummy. I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to hunt down some of that 1821 Earl Grey bitters. And then we have 2 dashes of chai bitters, so that's gonna be 4 dashes in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I gotta say, I usually think when I think of chai, I think chai is essentially code for cardamom. Not lying. That's not my favorite. It's got a little bit of cardamom flavor to it, but I don't detect... That is not what I would think of when I think of chai, for example. Yeah. Nope. Yep. The 1821, yeah. I'm just gonna just take this top off and just say, whoosh, knock that back. Wait a second, I can take these on airplanes, can't I? These are small enough. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't let you bring your own alcohol on the planes anymore, but you can bring your own bitters. You can bring your own vermouth. So if you want to make a Manhattan on the plane, yeah, you can order yourself a bottle of rye or a bottle of whiskey. You get the airplane bottles, right? And mix your own Manhattan on the plane. Trust me, you will get people going, what are you doing? Oh, that looks yummy. So make sure you bring more than just what you're going to be drinking, because people are going to be interested in what you're doing. All right, so that's it, right? We got the Cachaça.
Look, they're available on Amazon.
We've got the Darjeeling syrup. We got the dashes of bitters from both Earl Grey and chai. The spritz of lemon oil goes on last, so we just need to throw some ice in here. Ice. Move the urinal cake out of the way. There we go. I'm a big believer in the Dave Arnold school here, which says you don't actually need your ice to come up all the way into your mixing tin. As long as the ice is sort of above the level of the liquid, you're fine. So we're going to go ahead and do. By the way, so it is H.P. Lovecraft's birthday. It was on the 20th. So we are going to use. We're going to use the Cthulhu. Okay, here I'm not going to drip on my keyboard. There you go. Yeah, see, there's a Cthulhu. Yes, it's a Cthulhu bar spoon. Come on, H.P. Lovecraft, right? Lovecraft cocktails. Of course, we're going to use a Cthulhu bar spoon for this. And then we're doing this. We are feels ice cold, 20 to 40 seconds, depending on the ice size. So I also could have put in a couple of larger chunks of ice here and gotten this better than that. Who was this? This is Stephen Frey. And you said he was out of Seattle, right?
Stephen Frey? I thought it was...
Stefan Frey. S-T-E-F-A-N Frey. F-R-E-I.
Oh, I had Adam Williams.
Nope. Wait. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, I've been drinking while I've been stirring cocktails. So, Stefan Frey is the soccer star that has his own Cachaca brand. Adam Way is the bartender that created this, and Adam Way is out of Seattle. Right. Clearly, I'm not doing this entirely correctly because this is not as cold as I would like it. Do I need more ice in there? I think I might need more ice. Really? Wow. All right. The dilution factor is pretty high. I'm a little surprised. Again, the Cachacas are all 40% alcohol, so I would expect with a higher percentage alcohol that you would get more of the ice melting quicker. It's also a pretty mixing pint, stirring pint. So when I first started making cocktails, this whole stirring thing was problematic. I was like, stir. And I was not using a proper stirring pint for this. And the key ingredient on the stirring pint, I really think, aside from having the stir spout. So let's taste this. Oh, Amanda, I see why this is your favorite. Yeah, this is quite good. Is that they usually have a pretty thick bottom here. This is pretty solid glass at the bottom of this, which keeps this from doing all sorts of these things while you're trying to stir it, which you can use something like, this to do that. But the two things here is because this is angled, it's harder to get the stirring motion going, and it's easy to knock this over, whereas this isn't going anywhere. So if you're looking for these stirring pints, get something that's got a pretty thick base and pretty thick bottom on it. Classically, for stirred drinks and for these mixing pints, we use a julep strainer instead of a hawthorn. You can use a hawthorn. It's sort of an aesthetic. And I have to admit, so you can use your julep strainer either this way, which is what I have been conditioned to use. It just seems like it's better. I've also seen it used the other way around, and that seems to work just fine as well. This actually gives a slightly better lock on. So I'm pressing really hard with this finger, and this is not going anywhere. This, I don't think, is quite the same kind of lock, but it's perfectly fine with me. Either way you want to go. I kind of ripped Alton Brown a new one for using the julep strainer in the wrong direction, and that was just totally uncalled for. Should not have done that. There are many reasons to argue with Alton Brown over his mixing of cocktails, but this isn't one of them. However he wants to use his julep strainer is perfectly fine with me at this point. But yeah, here we go. What is this? This is the give and go, right? I'm gonna pour that in there. Pour some of that in here. Oh yeah. Which one do you want, hon? You want the Mai Tai glass or you want the Archipelago glass?
I want the Mai Tai.
She wants the Mai Tai Till I Die glass. So this has the wondrous Mai Tai Till I Die logo on it, which is from, not from Stormcrow. This is from, oh shoot. Who are the people that do this one? Black Lagoon Room. Black Lagoon Room. Yeah, Black Lagoon Room. Also, we love Black Lagoon Room. Their logos are like everywhere around here, and this hat has the Black Lagoon Room's tentacle wrapped around a hurricane glass pin on my hat. Yeah, we love those guys. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Give and Go, which is a soccer-inspired Cachaca cocktail with tea-infused syrup. And then Amanda says, oh, wait, time out. Nope, can't do that. We're forgetting the spritz of lemon oil across the top. Yep. Did you take a sip?
I did.
Okay. Was it yummy?
Yeah.
Okay. We gotta get this primed. There we go. All right. Once you get it primed, it's horrible getting old. It's like, progressive glasses, and it's like, where is the... Okay, so we're gonna go zoop. There you go. And we're gonna go zoop.
Oh, you can smell the lemon.
Shocking! You can smell lemon, right? You know what else you can do with these?
Right? You can cause fire.
You can cause fire, right? So you got here, you got like the big lighter, right? You've seen this, right?
Oh.
Have you guys seen this?
Amanda?
Have you guys seen this sort of thing?
I like Shannon's better, but this is a close second.
So,
I'm going to get out of the way while he does
we got to do flame. Oh, come on. Flames. I want flames. Come on. Safety. Flame. 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 There we go. We have flame, and then we go not near the pufferfish. In the opposite direction, we go whoosh. There you go. See that little sparky thing? Yeah, that's what you want. I usually, burnt lemon peel smell over the bar. Oh, that's so good. Oh my god. I think that might actually be better. Forget the straight spritz. Put a flame over it and then spritz over that. I haven't even tasted this yet, and I'm already telling you. No, the burnt lemon peel spritz is going to be better with this. Absolutely. Huh, I smell lemon. So this is the problem with doing the spritz, is that your first nose is going to be nothing but the spritz. A secret that you can do with this is you can also drop the ice cube in, spritz, and then pour the cocktail over it. And you'll still get that aromatic compound, but it won't be the only compound that you'll get. So we're going to try this, the Give and Go.
That's yummy.
That is quite yummy. Yep. I can see using that same... Okay, so here's the deal. If you really want to taste Cachaca, this is the cocktail for you. This is a Cachaca forward cocktail. This is a Cachaca old fashioned. So you're going to taste the Cachaca. The other two, the Cachaca works, but it works in concert with the other ingredients. And Star, while you were up here, you did not partake of the Cachaca tasting that I lined up here.
I'm sorry.
I got tasted right here. There's 3.
Oh my gosh.
Right, P2, Agua Luca, and then Cachaca Brasilia. Right? What do you think? Tastes like rum agricole.
It does in a lot of ways.
Well, it certainly smells like rum agricole, but the flavor is slightly different. Where's my water? My water's here. You need water? There's water. Bring a little air over that. That's like almost indistinguishable from rum agricole. The Agua Luca.
Mm-hmm.
Different smell entirely. I would, if I were sniffing this blind test, I would not. I'm not even sure I would guess rum agricole. I'm like, what is this? I wouldn't be totally off the mark if I said this might be a pisco on the nose. That's weird. The noses on these two are completely different. The Agua Luca and the P2, completely different. And the mouthfeel is different, and the flavor profile is different. This I would peg as a white rum of some sort. Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. Blind taste test. And of course, my palate is geared toward, oh, that's a rum. It's really, I'm going to taste, everything is like, baseline for me is rum and then branches out from there. I would guess rum agricole. I would guess a white, probably mixed column pot still rum. I would use the Aqua Luca as a white rum in cocktails and be perfectly acceptable and happy with that. Let's try the rum Brasilia. Thank you again, Gwen, for bringing us back to rum Brasilia. Okay, the nose is a little more like the rum agricole or the P2, but it's mellower. So if this is grassy and this is molasses-y, this is more vegetal. I get like beans, kind of like French beans, green beans kind of nose off of this. You know, it seems strange, but these are completely different, utterly different Cachaças.
Yes.
I
like the middle one best.
I'm not sure that I would. I am sure I would not peg these as the same spirit in a blind test. Nope, not at all. I'm not sure what that is. If you told me all of these are made from sugarcane and you gave me this, I would go, are you sure? The Agua Luca is the outlier, definitely. The Agua Luca is much more like a white rum than either of the other two. And here's the thing on... I mentioned on the shaker and spoon boxes that we usually do this over 2 or 3 hours. We condensed this down to about an hour. Okay, an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm kind of toasted at the moment. These are all quite good, all very different, all very light. Use them in the same way that you might use a silver or an unaged rum, and you'll be quite happy with using those Cachaças. Clearly, I need to restock on my Cachaça, and I know a couple of people in the district that have some opinions on Cachaça, and I will hunt them up and figure out what Cachaças I need to purchase. What that also means is, oh shucks, oh no, dear social secretary, we're going to have to modify the spirits list because we're now down to only one Cachaça, and we don't have much of that either. So we're going to have to modify our spirits list. You know, we have a spirits menu. We have like a 6-page spirits menu. It's kind of insane.
Upstairs.
I thought I brought it.
Guests.
I brought it down at some point. I thought, but anyway, it's quite cool. Why am I not drinking this? This is really good. I should be drinking this and not drinking the Cachaça straight, because this is actually better. I gotta say, I like Shannon's drink. I like it a lot. The Give and Go is much more my taste in cocktail. It's much more spirit forward. I get a much better sense of the Cachaça with that cocktail. Although the Cachaça is a little weird because obviously it's multiple Cachaças all mixed together. And no, I have no idea where I stashed the spirit menu, hun, so don't worry about it. So there we go. This is your experience with a shaker and spoon box. 2 mugs here that I store my Surfside Sips in. So I have this mug right here. This is a, This is one of those cheap little glass tiki mugs, right? It's got a tiki face on it. And I have some metal straws in here, and I just store my glass straws in that. I just stick them straight up in there. I like having them stored vertically and in front of me because then I can just reach over and like, oh, I like that one. I can see what they look like coming out of the glass. For the shorter straws, I use this little guy. And what I should do with the big glass, but I've done with this, and I haven't done it yet, but I have done with the small glass. There is a paper towel that is sort of wadded up in the bottom of this. So when I drop a straw in here or push a straw down in there, it's not hitting the bottom of the glass, and so much less chance of chipping. Having said that, we had, you see how many Surfside Sip straws we have. We have a bunch, and we use them a lot. We have had one break, and it was immediately replaced by the guys at Surfside Sips because they're freaking awesome. Okay, the guy at Surfside Sips, because he's awesome. And he has videos on Instagram, and you can watch him blow straws. You can watch him blow straws on Instagram. It's not OnlyFans. It's different. But it's very cool watching him do this stuff on the... Oh, look, we have... Yeah, I'm toasted because I'm like, oh, look, we got the pretty little lava lampy things here. Cool. Yeah, all right. I should call it quits before it gets too much like... No, wait, how do I store my shaker and spoon stuff? All right, here's the secret to storing your shaker and spoon stuff. I just have a top shelf in my refrigerator in the back room, which is my drink fridge, and there's probably a dozen of these bottles just scattered around. I have no rhyme or reason. Somebody out there has a better way of storing those. But here's the cool thing. So my dear wife said, you have way too many of these little itty bitty bottles, and you can't tell what's in them, and you have no idea how many of those things you have. So get this. Look at this. I'm not even sure what you call this box. I'm sure it has some other use.
It's a lipstick case.
It's a lipstick container. Oh, that's awesome. That's even better, right? So here you go, right? Here's all of these guys. Each one has its own little case, right? And yes, I have one extra over here from a previous box, and now I have 4 more. So I maybe need another one of these. What else is here? The Chipotle bitters, chicory pecan. So here, no, stop. Pooch, you have kept these poor people already way later than you usually bargain for, because we're approaching an hour and a half. And I'd really like to keep this closer to an hour and 10, that sort of thing. So here, I will organize that at some later date and shove things into my travel container. I'm going to have another drink of this. And Chris and David, you're local. You came down. We are honor bound to make it to Mali and do a broadcast from Mali. Mali being their boat, and do a Quarantiki broadcast from the boat. So hopefully that will occur, and we can do the like waving back and forth because the boat will be moving, right? Maybe not quite that much. Hopefully not quite that much. That would indicate something's happening with the waves and lack of anchor and that sort of thing. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, so I'm going to tell you that we love having you tune in to Lovecraft Cocktails every Sunday night. Thank you so much for doing this, for welcoming us into your whatever room it is that you watch us make cocktails. Thank you so much. We're going to continue doing this. 72 is right around the corner. 75 is around the corner as well. And looming in the distance is, oh my God, the 100th episode, the centennial episode. We'll have to do something seriously special for that. So I will talk to you all later. We'll talk to you next weekend. And stay tuned on Lovecraft Cocktails Facebook page. We post stuff occasionally. We occasionally post stuff on the Instagram as well. Usually try and keep you up on rum news and what's happening in the cocktail and spirits world, and occasionally stuff that's happening on the H.P. Lovecraft scene, the cosmic horror scene, Cthulhu, Azathoth, Nyarlathotep, etc., etc. Speaking of which, I should point out, if you are a fan of Mysterious Package Company, here's the cryptic, if you're a fan of Mysterious Package Company, starting in September, they're going to release the Gnarly Hotep package. And yeah, you better believe I'm throwing some money at those guys for that, because Mysterious Package Company, they're just cool. They are so freaking cool.
Sign off.
I know I'm going to sign off, right? Because I'm rambling because I've had too much to drink and therefore continuing to talk. So the wife is saying, get offline.